Memphis was in action on Saturday against Ole Miss. Memphis won the game 15-10. Tigers are back at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium Saturday against Southern University. Be a noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central Time start on ESPN3. As we mentioned at the top of the call, Bryce Huff from Memphis is the Americans Defensive Player of the Week. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call. If you just take a minute to tie up the win against Ole Miss, please. And we expect to see as you take the field of Liberty Bowl again on Saturday against Southern, please.
Hey, obviously we're excited about the 1-0 start. It was a great atmosphere. It was a fun game to be a part of. It was a physical game, which I thought our guys did an exceptional job with their effort and their aggressiveness throughout the game. I thought it was a game that we dominated the line of scrimmage really on both sides, being able to stop the run, and then we did a great job of being able to run the football. And you control the time of possession. I think we had 38 minutes of time of possession in the game, and so really we're in control of the game. Throughout, some things that showed up in the first game that we have to get cleaned up. We had 10 penalties, 7 of those are on the offensive side, and 1 in the return game that were critical, that kind of shot ourselves in the foot a little bit. But I was really excited about how our guys played throughout the game, and we were aggressive defensively. I thought those guys played at a very high level. Credit to the plan that Adam Fuller, our defensive coordinator, and the defensive staff put together. I thought in special teams we were able to flip the field with our punt team. Adam Williams played at a very high level. Then on punt return, we showed some great things with Pop Williams having a couple nice returns. One of those being negated with a penalty, like I mentioned. But it was a great atmosphere. It was a wonderful win for our city against a regional rival, and now the challenge comes to go and continue to improve, continue to work and focus on the things that we can control, and how we develop and what we put on the field here this Saturday. So you're excited about being back at home, and we got a big week of preparation coming up.
Thanks, Coach. I should have mentioned at the beginning if you would just give a few words on Bryce Huff's performance as well as part of the defense, maybe specifically the play he made on the safety and how what that did for the team the rest of that game.
Yeah, Bryce played an exceptional game, and he was all over the field, played with great energy and effort. I think he finished with 5 tackles, but a couple tackles for loss, a sack, and safety. I mean, that was he played at a very high level, and you made critical plays when we needed them. And when we had him pinned back there at the 2-yard line to get to the quarterback, get the safety, that made it a 5-point game. And really was a critical moment, and he showed up big at that time.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions for Coach Mike Norvell. Please star 1 on your telephone keypad to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
Report. We will now move on to our next question from Brian Moss of TigerSportReport.com. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Hey, Coach, talk about your offensive line. They were tested, and you got some players that seemed to be not necessarily banged up, but you had you tested that depth. If you could, talk about your offensive line play.
Yeah, going into it, anytime you're starting three new starters against a very experienced, large defensive line that we faced in Ole Miss. There was some question marks going into it, but the thing I was most proud of is the toughness that they showed. I mean, being able to establish a run game like we did was a critical factor in us being successful. Like you said, we had to play multiple guys. I think eight or 9 different offensive linemen got in the game due to either an injury or being forced into action, and I thought those guys responded well. There's some things we definitely have to get cleaned up with. We had some false start penalties. They have to get eliminated. There was some, we have some protection issues that we needed to get cleaned up, especially when we were moving the pocket. So, it looked like a first game. but there were a lot of positives, a lot of things that we can draw from. There's some technical and fundamental things that we have to go to work on this week to see those guys, make a big jump from week 1 to week 2. But even though we had 2 returning starters in Dustin and Dylan, I mean, Dustin moved to center for the first time, playing that exclusively. I thought he played at a very high level. Was tied up in a matchup with Benito Jones, who was a very well experienced and capable of being a dominant defensive lineman. I thought Dustin performed at a very high level against him throughout the game. So I was excited about what I saw, but we got a lot of improvement that needs to occur.
And if you could also talk about Quindell Johnson, he came in after Thomas left the game. It seems like your depth, your 2 deep chart now is just, you guys are just reloading. If you could talk about Johnson's play and just your depth, of the team.
Yeah, Quindell, that was probably one of the biggest bright spots of the game. You look at Dre going out in the first quarter. Dre was having an exceptional game there in the first part of it. We made multiple tackles, had a quarterback sack, and then got a little high on trying to disrupt the pass reception, and got called for targeting. Well, Q came in and played at a very high level, and to get the interception there a couple of drives later was big. Our guys have a lot of confidence in him. He puts a ton of time, in his preparation, and just his overall work ethic is something that as a coach you're proud to see a guy go in and have success when the opportunity calls, and he's definitely done that. And then overall defensively, and really in every phase, I love our depth, and that's something that we've really worked hard in recruiting to be able to create. And we were able to play numerous guys. We were able to stay fresh on both sides of the ball, and but when you see that when you are able to play that second unit, even guys that are 8 or 9 guys deep on the defensive front, and guys going in there and playing at a high level, that gives you a lot of confidence as a coaching staff. And so guys are continuing to push. Hopefully we're going to get a couple guys back from injuries that were held this week on the defensive side, and continue to help enhance that.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We will now take our next question from Leo Haggerty of ITS Sports Magazine. Please go ahead. Your line is open.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, most every NCAA football program has someone in their program with family in Florida. How do you deal with trying to get players and coaches to concentrate now with a Category 5 hurricane hanging 100 miles off the coast?
Well, it's something that anytime you have a natural disaster, a potential disaster, heading to loved ones or friends, families, it is a distraction, but a well needed distraction. Your focus has to be on your loved ones and what this current situation is. And we actually have a couple coaches that are from the state of Florida that the families are there, and you try to be able to provide support for them in any way possible, and continue to think and pray for everybody's safety that's there, making sure that that you can do everything that you possibly can to make the situation the best that it can be, for all those guys.
Coach, last question. Thank you for your time today. Big win over a Power 5 school in Ole Miss. Was it a teachable win where there's still things you need to concentrate on to get better?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. I think that being able to beat an SEC opponent, we understand the resources and the things that the teams from that conference are able to have that some of us don't have. But when you're able to go and play at the level which we played, when it comes to physicality, the toughness, the effort, and at the end of the day, man, I thought we dominated in every phase. And there were so many mistakes that we made that kept the game a lot closer than what I think it should have been. But that's areas for our guys to be able to get a win, to be able to go and learn from that experience, and know that we have to improve at a great level to be able to perform to our standard and what our potential is. I mean, those are the type of things that you need to see early. I thought that there was a lot of great flashes, and our team, we coming off of that game, we had our meetings yesterday, and they fully understood that we did what we needed to do to win that game, but there's a lot of areas that we need to continue to grow and develop for us to maximize the potential we have.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, sir.
And any final questions for Coach Mike Norvell, please? Star one on your telephone keypad if so. Coach, appreciate the time today. Look forward to talking to you once again next Monday.